in December 2017. Prior to that, I worked with Philip in setting up, Philip more than myself, the Gibraltar startup community in 2014-15. And I worked with Thomas at Wavecrest, which was a fintech company based in Gibraltar that at the time was issuing 95% of the world's Bitcoin prepaid cards. So we've done some work with each other, we were all enthusiasts in the space, and we saw that there was a gap in the market in Gibraltar for a local liquidity provider, OTC desk, broker-dealer, and custodian. So we put our heads together, and in 2017 we incorporated prior to the new DLT regulatory framework rolling out.
We provide three main things really, which is, first of all, it's OTC, over-the-counter buying and selling of cryptocurrencies, usually in high volumes, large amounts, so anything above really £50,000. That's kind of the main focus of this at the moment. Apart from that, we've got custody, which is basically just storing the digital assets of cryptocurrencies in a secure, air-gapped solution in bank-grade vault facilities. And then the third branch of it really is kind of discretionary portfolio management, which we've kind of moved away from, but we're also doing a lot of advisory and kind of bespoke services, which maybe Tom and Sam can open up on.
Yeah, so one of the other things is we provide our clients with a smart contract management. So they pass the ownership of the smart contract to us. The addresses are all stored with us in our vault. And then if they want to, for example, one of our clients wanted to extend the end date of their ICO, they just need to send us the instructions and we will do that for them. Perhaps they want us to change the rate of investment going into their ICO, we can change the rate as well. Some of our clients want help, for example, with market making. We don't do that, but we would advise them to one of our partner companies that do that. And that's about it.
I guess in a nutshell, in summary, we do what the name says. We help our clients manage their digital assets, and that could be buying, selling, storing, managing a wealth like portfolio, or any auxiliary services for us. For around that, we can pitch in and offer some guidance because we're well connected in the industry.
Yeah, I think escrow is an important one as well.
So escrow falls underneath custody. That's a good point, Tom. So if somebody wants to sell a house in Gibraltar and they have a buyer who wants to buy that with Bitcoin, there's been several cases already. Typically, law firms or banks take escrow on traditional fiat funds. Who's going to do so? Who's going to be an escrow for digital assets? Well, we can step in and do that.
I mean, difficulties, working in a very new industry, we constantly have difficulties. It's not just the regulatory. I mean, just today, this past kind of week, kind of our kind of background difficulties with traditional existing frameworks in banking and payments, and there's also kind of a cultural change that we have to try and get over with people. People kind of really associate some digital assets to be kind of to have some a negative reputation, to put it simply. But really, it's beyond that, and people need to see beyond kind of some of the negative media. I mean, that's just kind of the iceberg of it, really. Other things we've faced when setting up, kind of trying to find people who would maybe provide insurance for us. Don't know if you want to expand on that.
I guess, I mean, outside of just the industry-specific challenges, come all the challenges of just running a startup, right, period.
Yeah. Or any new business. Yeah. You end up with starting to hire your first employees, starting to have to pay tax and social insurance, and all those are new hurdles, new things that you've got to understand, learn, and execute.
Finding an accountant who is proficient in our industry, who understands how to account for digital assets, all the corporate services that a traditional startup would engage with, it seems like when we've engaged with them, there's just been an extra layer of complication.
Yes.
Or because there's no benchmark and it's so new.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's probably finding the skills, as you mentioned, you know.
It's been tough. It's been really, really tough. I mean, particularly for us, we started off with only one angel investor from the very beginning, with some capital to help us get going. The three of us and some trusted advisors. And again, Tom and Sam have said, we're really fortunate to have that in the beginning. The regulatory process, it was quite a long one, but I think that would be natural with any place that has just started to do it. I think the FSC now have really gone through a very learning curve. I mean, they're very, very knowledgeable, kind of worldwide. I think they're probably up there among the top jurisdictions in terms of knowing what they're talking about. But the thing is, it's if you're going to regulate people, it's not going to be an easy process. So anyone who's trying to get a quick win or a quick license, it's just not really going to happen. And if that's what they're looking for, Gibraltar is probably not the place for them.
I think you're right there in saying that we're industry leaders as a jurisdiction. Compared to other jurisdictions, we know New York and Japan have a regulatory framework that's up there as well. But in Europe specifically, you compare us to jurisdictions. I won't have to name any other jurisdictions, but there's some jurisdictions that have rolled out perhaps like 900 DLT licenses in a year, which is hard to fathom how that's controlled. And then on the other side, you have jurisdictions that are very loud with their, campaigns saying that they have a framework in place, and then when you actually boil down and dig deep, there's not much in place yet. So I think Gibraltar has done a very good job of attracting some industry-leading companies to the jurisdiction. And when you ask what the environment is like on the ground, you can, like this morning, I went for a coffee downstairs at Mine Wines at Chatham County Garden. There's 2 or 3 different tables with some industry-leading individuals that are well known, that have projects. One of them has his own cryptocurrency that's listed in the top 10 in CoinMarketCap, for example. So there's a lot of buzz on the ground, and it's quite easy to do business. We're in a very relationship-driven B2B business. Setting up and finding business in other jurisdictions has been a major challenge for us. We have been trying to find ambassadors on the ground in major capital cities, New York, London, Tokyo, guys with relationships that we can bring on board to sort of be to head our operations out there, but that requires capital, and that's probably the next step for us, I suppose.
Yeah. Raise capital, a lot of tenacity, don't give up, and if we can do it, I'm sure the other people can.
Yeah, I think that's if we can do it, anyone can. You just need to be ready for the grind.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to be ready to put the hours in, 70, 80-hour weeks, take the criticism. We're the new guys on the block in Gibraltar.
Yeah.
There's people in the market still today that have very little, I'm going to say it, have very little respect for us as young entrepreneurs. As time goes on, we continue to prove people wrong. So you need to be ready to absorb that negative criticism and build on it. Right?
Yeah, definitely.